Just to alert you, we are live on YouTube. So if you switch on your camera, it means you consent for us to use your image. And this is just for the webinar. We don't intend to use it for another purpose. Thank you. Thank you everyone who is joining on YouTube. We start at 10 a.m. sharp, 5 minutes from now. So please grab a cup of coffee, cocoa, or tea, and we wait for 5 minutes. Yeah, Mr. As we wait for 10 a.m., I think we can start with the introduction of why we are here and the objective of these webinars. So everyone, my name is Ratemo Mora. I work for PELUM Kenya. I'm a project officer under the KCOA project. KCOA stands for Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture and Agroecology in Africa. And we are privileged to have master trainers who train multipliers. Multipliers are TOTs, extension officers, field officers who work with farmers. And these webinars are intended to capacity build them on different concepts of agroecology. And one of our master trainer, Grace Misoi, is the overall in terms of coordinating these webinars. So I want to invite her to just share a brief about the webinars. Because we have today on integrated pest management. Tomorrow we have another one from Uganda. And then on Friday we conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratemo, for that introduction. For those who may not know who I am, my name is Grace Misoi. I am I'm one of the master trainers in the region, and I'm also the leader of the ecological organic agriculture under this program. And I'm so happy to be part of this meeting today. And as Ratemo has rightfully put, we are doing this round of webinars as a follow-up of what we've done already with them. So we had our trainings sometimes last year and the other year, and now they have been implementing on the field, and we've realized some of the few gaps or areas that they needed more information. And we thought it was right for us to have this series so that we are able to share more knowledge on the same and also share experiences. So I'm happy today we shall be having our master trainer, Dr. Nehemiah Mihindo, taking us through effective IPM. We are looking forward to have a very interactive session. And also, I know we shall have a lot of questions. I think, Dr. you're ready for this because this is a pest and disease management, an area where most of our farmers do have a lot of issues. So I'm happy to say that we know we have the right person on board who will be of help to each and every one of us. So as Ratema has fully put, we shall still have another training tomorrow, and it will be all the hubs will be present, and it will be about our market system development. And I hope all of us will be able to attend, and we shall wind up on Friday with Sylvia. So feel most welcomed. Feel free to ask questions. No question is too insignificant not to be answered. So we are looking forward to have all of you participating fully. Thank you, Ratemo. We can now continue by introducing our master trainer, Dr. Mihindo. It's already 10:01, so it's the right time to start. Karibuni sana, sana, sana. We shall recognize all the master trainers at the end, those from Kenya and from other countries. We apologize for those of us who were here yesterday and we were not able to recognize you. Like Jules from Rwanda, you were here yesterday, and the others, please join us today. Thank you very much. Back to you, Ratemo. Do you have a word to say before Dr. Mihindo can take over?
Yes, I do. Today we are going to talk about pest management in terms of integrated pest management. I know this is one of the areas that affect a lot of farmers, especially when they're doing organic farming. So please have questions for Dr. after his presentation. He's ready to answer. He has a background in terms of entomology, so he's able to give you a response. And this presentation will be shared to all of you. So don't worry, you'll get the presentation, listen to him, take notes if you can, and please tell us where you're joining from so that Terry can feel privileged to even touch hearts of other people in Kenya and outside Kenya in terms of handling pests. So I want to welcome Terry. His name is Dr. Nehemiah Mihindo. He also works for another organization. He's going to tell us and what he does in terms of the KCOA project. So karibu sana daktari.
Thank you very much, Ratemo. Thank you very much, Misoi, for that welcome. I'm happy to be with you. As Ratemo has said, my name is Nehemiah Mihindo. I work for an organization called Effective IPM Association. And again, I'm a master trainer in the KCOA project. And I'm happy to be with you today. And the session today is going to be very interactive, I hope so. And I want it to be like a share an experience and knowledge sharing session where people from different regions have different options for pest management. And therefore, I want an interaction session where people will exchange ideas because we don't have a single recipe for pest management and integrated pest management. But if we can share the information we have, I think it is going to be beneficial to all of us. So we are going to start by saying that this topic is quite hot because farmers have a lot of problems with pests. And we are talking about an area where even governments, some of the governments have not been able to tackle the problems associated with the crop pests, with livestock pests. So what we are talking about today is quite sensitive in terms of the farmer who has a lot of problems with the pests, and the government who have problems with the pests and also with the pesticides. And then the multinationals are pumping in a lot of pesticides into the countries. Well, for those people who are keen on the health and the environment, and the environment, they are talking about the issues of removing the pesticide, the synthetic pesticides from the farmers' exposure. So we should look at the balance and see where we can help our farmers to make sure that what they produce is healthy, but at the same time, it is also economically viable. I would start by saying that food security and increased incomes are the primary goals of our poor farmers throughout Africa. We know that most of the African countries rely on agriculture for their livelihood. And we are talking about most farmers in Africa being small-scale farmers. And with this, it is very, very important that they get systems that are going to help them, as I have said, to maintain their economic well-being while safeguarding their health and their environment. So, and we are saying that it has been estimated that there has been an increase of poverty in Africa by around 7% every year. So we are saying that we are moving from bad to worse. People increase or keep on getting poor every year. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the cost of production in Africa has become so high. While problems associated with the production have kept on increasing. And we are also saying that the African governments have concentrated more on other issues rather than agriculture, and left it to in the hands of middlemen who exploit the farmers. So we are saying that our farmers keep on getting poorer and poorer and poorer. And among the factors that affect food production in Africa are pests and diseases. And we are saying that in Africa, especially in Kenya here, we have estimated that for every 100 bags of produce by a farmer, at least 25 to 30% are destroyed by pests. So it's like we are working for pests. And when we talk of pests, we are talking of pests and other disease-causing organisms. So we are saying that accessibility to pesticides has also been limited. Well, at the same time, the ones that are available are not friendly to the farmers. And the other thing is that even the pesticides that are available, we see them being adulterated by traders. And then the farmers don't have knowledge on how to use them. And this one has led to move a lot of pesticides having resistance, developing resistance. And therefore, we are saying that farmers in Africa have a lot of problems with the pests. And so let me start by saying, for those who have joined the first time, I know that for the multipliers that we have interacted with, we have talked a lot about this. And for us to understand the concept, we must know what a pest is. A pest is an organism that damages or interferes with desirable plants in our fields and orchards. I would say that a pest is any organism that interferes with the normal development of another, either through causing physical injury, or what we call predation, or through causing unfavorable conditions. And those unfavorable conditions are the ones that we call diseases. So if an organism or any causes any physical damage, if it predates on your crop, then that's a pest. If it also causes unfavorable conditions, which we call diseases, it is also, we consider it to be a pest. And we are saying that it can be a vertebrate, those birds, rodents, and mammals, or an invertebrate, an insect, ticks, mites, or snails, nematodes, pathogens, virus, fungus. These ones cause diseases. And there are also the pests that will not cause diseases. They will not also destroy the plant, but they will cause anxiety to the plant or to the animal by either moving up and down the body of the animal. And that way, they are going to reduce production by that plant or animal. And therefore, this is how we have categorized what a pest is. Then, for us to be able to understand the concept of dealing with these pests, the concept of pesticides has come in. We know that the pesticides came in after the Second World War, although the pesticides have always been used. They have always been used since long ago. But after the Second World War, that is when we had a lot of use of pesticides. And I would say that the word pesticide is derived from the Latin word pestis, meaning plague. Plague meaning it's like a catastrophe. It is something that is killing. And sender meaning kills, kill. So the substance is supposed to kill the organism that is bringing this plague. So it's a Latin word, pestis crede, meaning plague and kill. So what we are saying here is that a pesticide is a substance or mixture of substance intended for preventing, destroying, or controlling any pest, including vectors of humans or animal disease, and to species of plants or animals, causing harm during or otherwise interfering with the production. That's what I have explained. For those organisms that are interfering with the production, for those organisms that are interfering with the normal development of others, then pesticides are supposed to work on this through either killing or preventing destruction by these pests. So They are mainly classified upon their mode of action, which indicates the exact biological mechanism which the pesticide disrupts. What do I mean? That pesticides are classified according to how they act. And we have got pesticides that deal with specific categories of pests. I have this table here. Like we have the algicides, or they act on algae. We have herbicides acting on birds, then bactericides acting on bacteria, and fungicides acting on fungi and homicides. Then we have herbicides working on weeds or on plants. Then we have insecticides on insects. Lampricides work on lampreys. And then we have milicides working on mites. Moraxicides, they are categorized according to the organisms they work on. So, and their mode of action. Now, we have got pesticides in the market, but for us in agroecology, we know that these pesticides have a lot of problems in the environment. We know that they cause a lot of problems to our health. We know that they cause a lot of problems, even social problems amongst the communities. So what are the problems associated with the pesticides? Pesticides can cause short-term and adverse health effects. The short-term health effects are the ones we call the acute effects. Also, we have got the long-term health effects called the chronic health effects. Examples of acute health effects include the stinging of the eyes or rashes, blisters, or blindness that is short-term. Then we have nausea, dizziness, the diarrhea, and sometimes they can also cause death. So this one is short time. You use the pesticide, it will react on you immediately. Then we have chronic effects. They are cancer causing. Then we have some birds getting defects. If you go to, like in Kenya, you go to Lake Nakuru, currently you'll find that some of the flamingos, they have defects because of pesticides that have been used in the highlands and are taken by water to the lake. Then we have what we call the reproductive defects, or animals are not able to reproduce because of the effect of pesticides. Then we have the neurological development toxicity and disruption of the endocrine system. Endocrine system, if it is disrupted, then your normal body system is disrupted. Then I have put a picture here. It's not African, but I just wanted to show you how one of the problems that is associated with the skin and pesticide exposure. You can see how that those hands are and the legs. This person maybe have used pesticides for a long time without protective clothing, and you can see the effect. Yes, so you can see that another picture here, and of how people spray their crops, and they are quite dangerous. Then the other problem associated with the pesticides is that they are expensive. They are their prices keep on going high every day, and farmers cannot afford them. They keep on, I have said that pests keep on mutating, they keep on changing their form, and therefore companies keep on producing new pesticides. And these new pesticides come with new prices. Like here in Kenya, we know that currently pesticides prices are on the high trajectory. So we are saying that farmers cannot afford these pesticides. So what do? They rely on cheaper pesticides that come from the middlemen, or what we call the local traders. who adulterate the pesticides to in order to fit or to meet the farmers' price. So we find that most of the pesticides that farmers get are adulterated. Currently, we in Kenya, we are going for pesticides from our neighboring countries because we cannot afford the pesticides that are not that are in the market here in Kenya. So this is very important to note that what we are using, for, like especially for the uh, for crops like tomatoes, for crops like potatoes, we are getting the pesticides from our neighboring countries. We have not tested those pesticides here in Kenya, but farmers are getting them because of the porous borders that we are having. So it is important to note that they are very expensive. Lastly, pesticides, most pesticides are non-selective. You spray an insecticide, it will kill both the harmful and also the beneficial in organisms. And this one makes an imbalance of our environment. What's happened? Yeah, we have seen all the problems that are associated with the pesticides, and we have said that we are not in a good state as far as pest management is concerned. Currently, there has been a lot of campaigns against the use of what we call highly hazardous pesticides. There are organizations like Root to Food and BIBA who are now, plus Effective IPM Association, who are advocating for the removal of what we call the highly hazardous pesticides from the market. How they got into Kenya, I think is a question for another day. But we are saying that for us to keep our environment safe, for us to keep our health safe, we need to remove those pesticides from our environment. And it is not an easy task because they are also multinational companies and they are coming with a lot of money for advertisement. And also they are coming with the subsidies so that they bring in their chemicals to you to sell in the country. And I know that it is happening even in other countries in East Africa. In other countries, the regulations are not so stiff, and therefore people can bring pesticides at will. So we get all sorts of pesticides getting into our countries. In some of the pesticides that come into our countries were banned long ago in Europe and the Americas. So we are getting something that is not supposed to be used by humans, but it is still in the shops for sale in the African countries. So what we are saying is that we need a system, and this is what we have been talking about. We need a system where farmers understand what they are doing. Farmers know that if I use this chemical, it is going to have this harm on me. And therefore, I should have alternatives so that every time I'm in my farm, I feel confident. I feel that I'm not fearing because current agriculture has a lot of fears because of the pesticides that farmers are using. You don't know what the effect the pesticides that you are using will have on your body. Now, the World Health Organization has classified some crops as
Apologies for that. Just give us a few moments. Dr. is joining Mark, so give him just a minute. For those who have joined us, thank you so much. I think we have some master trainers out of Kenya. We're going to recognize you later. So Dr. Mihindo is back, and allow him to present. So Dr. welcome back. Please try to project.
Okay. So sorry for that. So sorry for that interruption. I don't know what happened, but let us continue. So what I was saying is that we have some of the plants or crops that are considered as the dirty dozen, and one of them is tomato. And the other one is the spinach or the kale, the sukuma wiki, and those ones are also considered as plants that have a lot of pesticides. And also we have the grapes. We have got the apple. So when you are taking those plants, you must know that a lot of chemicals are used to produce them. Therefore, you should be very, very careful when you are eating them. So what do I advise the people to do? Before you eat those plants, make sure that you clean them properly. I would advise that you use vinegar to clean them. Soak with the vinegar for about 10 minutes, then rinse very well, and you can cook or you can eat them. But otherwise, they contain a lot of pesticides. So I have given a lot of history about pesticides, and therefore we have seen that there is a problem. So what are we going to do? What I would say is that we always say that we should look at options that are environmentally friendly, that are cost effective, and at the same time are socially acceptable. And that is where we come in with the issue of integrated pest management. And I'm saying this, that what is IPM? Integrated Pest Management is an ecosystem-based strategy that focuses on long-term prevention of pests or their damage through a combination of techniques aimed at manipulating the pest population in order to keep them below economic injury levels. One, we are talking about, it's a long prevention strategy. And a strategy is a system where you are not looking at the effects now. We are looking at the effects today, and we are not compromising about tomorrow, because what we do today is definitely going to affect tomorrow. So and then we are saying that it is ecosystem based. So an IPM program for this area may be different from an IPM program for the area that you are in. So, and then our aim is to prevent damage. And we always say that we are manipulating the pest population. So we are not eradicating them. Remember, whatever is on Earth, there is nothing that is not important. Everything is important. So when you are killing all organisms, you are putting our earth into a lot of imbalance, and this is going to have an effect on you, because we always say that nature will always come back to you. If you do it right, nature will come back to you with some rewards. If you do it wrong, nature will come back to you with some punishment. So if we overuse pesticides, then nature will come to us with more and worse consequences. If we look at systems that are environmentally friendly, then nature will come and reward us. So we are not using one particular method. We are using different methods. And I think we have agreed that if we do things right, pests will not come to our will not come to destroy our crops, our animals. But if we do things wrong, then they will come and destroy our systems. So I always tell people to ask themselves one question. Whenever you get a pest in your on your crops, whenever you get some pests or diseases in your animals, ask yourself one question. What have I done? Or what have I not done that is encouraging these pests to come to my farm? And therefore, when you ask yourself those questions, you start now looking at your farm and realizing that there are some factors that are encouraging the pests to come to your farm. So if you rectify those factors, if you remove those factors, then the pest will not come to your farm. If the factors remain, then you are encouraging the organisms or the pests to multiply, and you have a lot of problems. Then we are saying that we are manipulating the pest population to keep them below economic injury levels. What are the economic injury levels in a layman's language? These are levels where now you have to say that I have to use, I have to take measures that will include using of cash to buy chemical, to buy the pesticides, to remove the pest or to damage the pest. Before you reach that stage, we always say that prevention is better than cure. Nowadays, the song is that, okay, because we want quick things, we always saying that, okay, there is a pest, there is this caterpillar called diamond backmoth, and its remedy is so and so pesticide. And it is that's finished. But we don't look at the long-term effect of the chemicals that we are spraying. But under integrated pest management, we are saying, let us start from understanding your farm. And therefore, that is where we always say, understand the systems that are going on in your farm. Make sure that those systems are the right ones. And if you do them right, you are going to prevent your crops from being destroyed by the pests. And that is what we call doing an agroecosystems analysis of your farm every 1 or 2 days to make sure that if you understand if there are new pests that are developing, you understand if there are new occurrences, then you can take the right measures. You can ask yourself, why is this pest coming to my farm and not to my neighbor's farm? Then you ask yourself, what have I done or what have I not done that is encouraging these pests to come to my farm? What are the benefits of integrated pest management? One, we have just said that the methods that we want to use methods that are environmentally friendly. And these methods are the ones that cause no less harm to the natural biodiversity. By targeting specific species rather than outright damaging a certain environment, IPM practices ensure that biodiversity is protected. A healthy ecosystem houses a number of different species, all carefully balanced with other animal populations. Put the safety of nature first by protecting biodiversity with careful IPM pest control or management techniques. So we are saying that whereas you want to have healthy crops, you should take care of all the diversity or the diversity of your ecosystem. The ecosystem has been so balanced, but because of man's intervention, the imbalance came in, and this is why now we are talking about some pests becoming so many. Well, because we killed what was supposed to destroy them. Nature will not forgive us for this. So we are saying that when we use integrated pest management, there is balance in environment and therefore a happy ecosystem. If you go to a forest, you will be happy because of the interaction between different plants, the interaction between plants and organisms, the interaction between animals and plants. Very nice, and that is the interaction that we want. The second one is I said that because of overuse of pests, there is what we call pesticide resistance. Using pesticides too frequently can cause a resistance to build up over time, lowering the overall effectiveness of chemical pest control. So when pests develop resistance, then they are not effective. Then in order for pesticides or chemical to use to take strong action against pest infestation, pesticide treatments should only be used in extreme cases. And we are saying that we are not saying that you don't use pesticides, but we are also going to tell you what kind of pesticides you can use and when. And here I'm saying that pesticides can be used as the last resort. And we shall discuss which pesticides you can use and which pesticides you cannot use. My advice here is that let us not start thinking about pesticides even before we think about the plant that we want to grow, because eventually the pest will develop resistance and your pesticides will not be effective anymore. We are saying by using a range of different IPM techniques through pest management or pest control, specialists can effectively solve the pest problem. So we have said that IPM does not involve a single method to manage or control pests. It is a combination of methods that will reduce the pest population to levels causing no economic injury. So if you use different methods, we are going to reduce the pests. We are going to solve the problems without overuse of pesticides. Let's continue. Then we have also mentioned that most pesticides are very expensive. And here we are saying by use of integrated pest management, this is a more cost-effective choice in the long run as it prioritizes healthy ecosystems and values the environment. If nature is healthy, that will pay off for the generation and generations to come. By using IPM techniques, such as we have chemicals that can be used in IPM and mechanical controls, nature is able to better self-regulate, which takes less time and energy on your part. So what are we saying? That by using integrated pest management and making sure that you use less and less of synthetic pesticides that sometimes persist in the environment for so long. Some of the pesticides stay in the environment for as long as many, many years. So by not using those pesticides, we are saying that nature is able to self-regulate itself and return back to its balance. Then we have effective and healthy results. And here we are saying, aside from the financial benefits, promoting safety is never a disadvantage. When it comes to IPM, forms of pest control, health is never sacrificed for results. Don't sacrifice your health to get a good crop. And this is what has been happening in Africa, that we are producing, but we are compromising on the quality of what we are producing in terms of our health. So I will give you an example of what is happening where I live in central Kenya. And what has been happening, we grow a lot of kale, we grow a lot of cabbage, we grow a lot of spinach. And what farmers have been doing, just before they take the vegetables to the market, they do a lot of spraying to make sure that those vegetables are not attacked by the insects. And even before the chemicals are of the vegetables, they are in the market. So what happens? We have compromised our production, our health to production. So it is important that we look at our health also. As much as we are looking at production, it is important to also look at our health so that we expose our communities to the health damage and to the health damage, and also to the environmental damage. Some of the pesticides that are used, I've said, persist in the environment for many, many years. We have got chemicals like DDT that persist in the environment for, I think the half-life of DDT is 40 years, if I'm not wrong. So within 40 years, they are causing a lot of harm to the environment. So we are saying that by using integrated pest management, we will have a healthy environment, healthy people, and healthy food, and hence healthy people. So what is the role of IPM in agroecology? We are saying that IPM builds on ecosystem services such as pest predation while protecting others such as pollination. I think I have explained this. We try to use a combination of practices, and we are trying to build an ecosystem that is self-regulating. It also contributes to increased farm productivity and food availability by reducing pre- and post-harvest crop losses. I started by saying that in Kenya, 25 to 30% of our produce is destroyed by pests. And therefore, an integrated pest management is a good system where we try to reduce both the post and the pre and post harvest. And I would say, out of the 30%, 20% is post harvest. It is the crops are destroyed just before harvesting and when we are harvesting. The other one is reduces pesticide residues. IPM contributes to food and water safety, reducing the amount of pesticides used, in turn reduces residues in food, feed, fiber, and environment. So we are saying that less use of pesticides, less residues in the environment, and therefore more safer our environment is, more safer the food that we are eating. Let us try to talk to our farmers. Let us try to talk to the people we work with so that whatever they produce, they should not compromise on the health of the people. They should not compromise on the environment that we are in. And therefore, the IPM gives us a good option. The other one, it enhances ecosystem services. IPM seeks to maintain the national crop system balance. It concerns the underlying natural resources base. I have said this, and I would say that like in Kenya, in the Central Highlands, this has a very negative effect where we have now a lake like Lake Naivasha, and there has been a report that a lot of chemicals have been pumped into that lake, and those have affected the fish that is there. Many bodies have considered fish in Lake Naivasha not fit for human consumption. Why? There has been a lot of what we call eutrophication, both of nutrients, excess nutrients, and also excess pesticides. So the lake is contaminated, and therefore this with IPM, this is going to be that maintaining the natural resource base, that is water, soil, and biodiversity, that enhance the ecosystem services. The ecosystem is going to work well, and also it will encourage other organisms that help in reproduction. Organisms like insects, like bees, that help in pollination. Then the healthy source is going to encourage organisms that help in decomposition of materials, and that is going to help us to get nutrients for the crop. Increased income levels, IPM reduces production cost. I have said that through use of preventive measures, you are going to cut on the amount of money that you could use for to purchase some pesticides, and that is going to reduce the cost of production. Higher equality crops with less residues can command better prices in market and contribute to increased farmer profitability. So we are saying that for those farmers who are doing organic agriculture, I know that the prices in the market are better than for those farmers who are not. We have got those farmers who have undergone the guarantee system, and they have their own local markets, and they sell their produce at premium prices. We have got supermarkets that have what we call organic shelves, and if you go there, the prices of those crops, of the produce there, is higher than the normal prices. So that is as far as profitability is concerned. Then we have the strengthens farmer knowledge. IPM promotes farmer stewardship, increases farmer knowledge of ecosystem functioning, adapted to their local context. What am I saying here? If you use if you decide to use integrated pest management, you look for a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge about your farm. You'll understand your farming system better, and you'll also understand systems that are functioning within an IPM context, so that you use them to apply to in your farm. So we are saying that those farmers that are using integrated pest management, they better understand their farming system. They have a lot of knowledge about what they are producing than those who rely on pesticides, because they know that, yeah, I have this problem, I'll apply this pesticide. But for farmers who are using integrated pest management, then they have a lot of knowledge. Now, we have said that integrated pest management entails the use of different methods aimed at reducing the pest population. Now, I have also said that under integrated pest management, the farmer has a lot of knowledge about the pests, about the farming systems, and about his own ecosystem and the outside ecosystem, so that he knows what to apply when. So this can only be done through an IPM regime or an IPM system that includes one, making sure that you know your farm through monitoring. And monitoring includes regular site inspection and trapping to determine the types and infestation levels of pests of each site. That is what I call ecosystems analysis. Remember, I told you that when you go to your farm, you should ask yourself, what have I done? Or what have I not done that is encouraging this pest to come to my farm? So you'll only do that through making sure that your farm is, you know your farm very well. And this can only be done through proper monitoring of your farm. And I'm losing myself. Something is wrong. Just a minute. Something is wrong. Okay. Okay. So we are saying that you need to make sure that you understand your farm, visit your farm regularly, then monitor the pest development. Then the third thing is you keep records of what is happening in your farm. Record keeping system is essential to establish trends and patterns in pest outbreak. Information recorded at every inspection or treatment should include pest identification, population size, distribution, recommendation, and all that. So what we are saying is that after you do what we call agroecosystems analysis in your farm, you record the development in your farm. And once you record, you do the second monitoring. You will compare the first one with the second one so that you know how the pest population is advancing, whether it is reducing or it is increasing. Then the third one, we are saying now you set what we call the action levels, or what we call the threshold levels, then we are saying an action level is the population size which requires remedial action or human health, for human health, economic, or aesthetic reasons. You find that your crops are continue to be destroyed by pests, and you decide that at this level, today I got 6 caterpillars, tomorrow I get 12. You decide at number 20, then I have to do an intervention that is going to prevent or protect my plants from getting destroyed, either health-wise, economically. That is to make sure that I don't lose the value of my crops. Then the first thing that you do is to look for preventive measures that must be incorporated in the existing structures and decide for new structures. Preventive measure is and should be the primary means of pest management or pest control in an IPM program. So we always start with the preventive measures. We start looking at what can be done to prevent the advancement of the pest before we start with the remedial measures. Remember, we always say that prevention is better than cure. Then we have the last one as evaluation. Is a regular evaluation program which is essential to determine the success of the pest management strategies. Have my success strategy succeeded or not? So what am I supposed to do? This is like a normal project that we do, where we start with the planning, we start with the implementation, we go to monitoring, then we go to evaluation. And I think this is going to help us. So you can see that this is a farmer who is, I just put this picture to show you a farmer who is looking at his sorghum and trying to understand what pests are there and what he can do. We continue. I have said that at the prevention measures, you decide on methods that are going to prevent your plants from getting more destruction. And therefore, some of the prevention measures, we call them the cultural methods. We are at now the integrated pest management methods. And I always say that we give what we call a basket of choices, different methods. Remember, we said the IPM is a combination of methods aimed at reducing the pest population to levels causing no economic injury. Therefore, we start by preventive measures. Some of the preventive measures are cultural. These are the normal agronomic practices in the field, which are not meant for pest management, but end up helping in reducing the pest population. The normal things that we do, we have got like timely planting. We don't do timely planting to prevent pests, but we end up preventing pests. Soil cultivation, weeding, watering, fertility management. Soil fertility management, when we have healthy crops, we also have healthy, we also, and those crops are going to resist or are going to be tolerant to pests. Then we have crop rotation, we have clean planting material. So we are saying that one of the method, the preventive method, is the cultural practices that we do. And they are not primarily for pest management, but they end up helping us to manage pests. The second method that we use is what we call the behavioral method. This one involves the deliberate change of behavior of pests by introducing favorable or unfavorable conditions. For example, So we are changing the behavior of a pest. The pest was behaving this way, the pest was moving this way, but we have changed its course to move in a different direction, either through the use of introducing favorable or unfavorable conditions. One, we use what we call attractants. For example, if you plant sunflower in a maize field, all weaver birds will be attracted to the sunflower and leave your maize. Then the weaver birds like maize, but they prefer sunflower to maize. So if you plant a few sunflower plants, the weaver birds will go to your maize. The other one is what we call push-pull method. The push-pull method, which involves maize. Then we have Desmodium and Napier. This one, for maize and Napier, we have what we call the maize stalk borer. Maize stalk borer likes maize so much, but the caterpillar prefers Napier to maize. So if you plant lines of Napier along maize, then all the maize stalk borer caterpillars will go to the maize, to the Napier and leave your maize. Then the next one is where we use and we introduce unfavorable conditions or the use of repellents. And we have got some repellents like the onion, garlic, dania, Mexican marigold. Even the crop with the vegetables will repel a number of soft-bodied insects. So we are saying that we change the behavior of the pest, of the pest. And under this one, I'll also the second one here, that one which I have not written here is what we call the physical or mechanical method. And sometimes it is combined with the behavioral method because we change the behavior of some organisms through putting barriers and also through posting structures like fences. Fences will make sure that animals like antelopes will not reach your field. So, and we also use traps, the use of traps. And here we are also using things like what we call the pheromone traps. You put pheromones, like for us, we have a variety of pheromones for different for different pests. And what happens is that in those pheromones, we put the female pheromone, and the male will think that there is a female to come and mate with, and in the process, the female, the male is going to die or is going to through choking in water, or is going to die through the use of pesticides. So that is a behavioral method with the use of traps, pheromone traps, the use of the yellow stick traps, where some pests are attracted to different colors. And then we have sheets that are sticky. And the colors will attract the pest, and it will come and stick on those sheets. So we have the yellow, we have the blue, we have the green, different colors. Now, the fourth one, this is the fourth one, is the use of what we call biological methods. This revolves around the use of living organisms to damage pests or living organisms that damage others, what we call the natural enemies. And when God created the world, the earth, he created it in its totality. And there are organisms that destroy others. There are organisms that interfere with the reproduction of others. There are organisms that will interfere with others through causing anxiety. So God gave every organism its natural enemy, except man. All the other organisms have their own natural enemy. So by destroying the natural enemies, we make the population of pests to increase, and that has an effect on us. So what we are saying is that we have got these organisms, and some of them will feed directly on the organisms, and they'll feed them at different stages, e.g. the eggs, the larva, the pupa, or at the adult stage. So those organisms, we call them predators. They will predate on the organisms. And some of the, I'm going to show some of the organisms that are predators. Then we have parasitoids, organisms that during the larval stages feed on pests or external parasitoids or in the pests. They will bore into the pest, lay their eggs, and when the eggs hatch, those little ones will feed on the pest. They complete their development on a single host, killing it. In their adult stages, they are mostly free living and feed on pollen and nectar or other sugar substances such as honeydew. So we are saying that at their adult stage, they are just like any other molds. They are just, but they will feed on dew. But at the larva stage, they will feed on the pest and they will destroy them. So that is what we call the parasitoids. Then some parasitoids lay their eggs in or on species of insects called the host, and the larva at the larva stage kills the host as it feeds on it. So we are saying that here we are using predators. We are all using parasitoids. We are also using what we call pathogens. These are organisms that can cause diseases or pests. They include fungi, bacteria, virus, and nematodes. They can be important in controlling pest population in agricultural systems. However, naturally occurring pesticides often are too rare to serve as important control agents or occur when the damage has already been done. So that's why we are saying that some of these pathogens have now been manufactured by many companies and they are for sale. Some pathogens such as bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis, and Trichoderma viride are commercially available in many countries, including Kenya. We know that there are companies that are making Bacillus thuringiensis, Trichoderma, and others for sale. Other fungi such as Dophora, Verticillium, and this other one can be readily found in the field at particular times of the year, infecting aphids, beetles, caterpillars, grasshoppers, and fruit flies. So what we are saying is that these organisms may be available in the environment, but the problem is that some of them are not so many. And then some of them occur at specific times of the year. So, and sometimes they occur when the damage is already done. And therefore, there are some companies that have manufactured them in Kenya. Pathogens, they are phyto and lipidating diseases of arthropod pests and include, this is, I think, a repeat of what I said. And therefore, what we are saying is that nature has its completeness, and therefore we should always make sure that by less use of synthetic pesticides, by less use of a lot of poisons, we make sure that nature regenerates itself. Some of the predators we have got the ladybird. We know them, the hoverfly. We have the assassin bug, the chameleon. We have the praying mantis. We have rove beetle. We have predatory wasps. We have predatory thrips, predatory mites, parasitoids are like parasitic wasps, black-noded wasp. Then we have trichiniid fly. So you need not know all this because they are there in nature. What you need to do is to conserve these natural enemies. So how do we conserve the natural enemies? We conserve the natural enemies by reduced use of chemicals that are non-selective and will kill both the pests and their natural enemies. I have said that most of these chemicals are non-selective. They'll kill the beneficial and they'll also kill the harmful pests. So by reducing their use, that is an important method of conserving the natural enemies. Then growing flowering plants in your field to provide nectar and pollen to the farmers' spread, such as adult parasitoids, wasps, hoverflies, and ladybirds, beetles. I have said that at their adult stage, some of the natural enemies will feed on nectar, they will feed on honey, and therefore by planting some flowers around your hedges, then you can provide food for them. Hoverflies and ladybird beetles adults by having live fences allowed the crop to provide shelter and refuge to farmers, friends, and should be encouraged. This one, most of these organisms are quite shy and they like hiding in bushes. So leave some live hedges so that they can have some habitat. Mulching and having live fences to provide habitat allow for the ground for provide ground for natural enemies. So make sure that you do mulching, you leave live fences. In short, let us have habitats for these organisms so that we make sure that they stay in our farms. If we don't have their habitats, even you, if you don't have where to live, you'll either go to your neighbor or you'll move to some new habitat. So let us have some grass areas. Let us have some flowering plants. Let us have some light fences so that these friends of ours can live with us. And I think that is it about the biological method of pest management method. So up to that, we have talked about preventive method. We have also talked about biological control. And in biological control, we are using natural enemies. Some of them will destroy the pests, but the destruction will be gradual. We have said that some organisms will even lay their eggs on the pests, and eventually the pests will become very uneasy and may not be able to feed, and eventually they will die. And we have also said that the best thing is to let nature regenerate itself. And because we know that a lot of organisms are there in nature and they will help each other because some of them act as destroyers of others. So it is important to do that. And lastly, we have said that prevention is better than cure. Now, I have said that integrated pest management has many choices. So we have talked about cultural methods. We have talked about physical or mechanical methods. We have talked about behavioral methods. We have talked about biological methods. And now our last method is what we call the chemical method. As I said, in integrated pest management, we don't say that we don't use chemicals, but we always say that you must know the chemical that you are going to use. And there are many people who will say that, okay, I'm practicing organic agriculture, and therefore I don't use any chemicals. Why? Because whenever I'm spraying my crops, I'm using Tithonia, I'm using Tephrosia vogeli, I'm using Azadirachta indica, I'm using whichever plant. So I'm boiling this plant and spraying on my crops, and the pests are dying so well. And therefore, I'm not using any chemical. I want to say that what kills is what we call the pesticide. And in the pesticide, there is what we call the active ingredient. The active ingredient is the chemical that kills in a layman's language. So when you talk about use of chemicals, there are chemicals that are plant-based. There are chemicals that are not plant-based. So what we are going to discuss now is the chemical method of pest management, but we shall concentrate on the use of what we call botanical pesticides or biopesticides. And we know that there are very many plants that have the pesticidal properties. Plants that are sources of botanical pesticides are easily available. They are there in nature, and most of them have multiple uses, such as medicines, spices, ornamentals, food, and or as feed. The availability makes them inexpensive, and hence they are easily incorporated into agricultural production. So we are going to discuss this pesticides and see how they act, and some examples that we can give. And then at the end of the presentation, we can have some interaction where people can say some of the botanical pesticides or biopesticides that they know that we can share with the rest of the team. So we have commercialized pesticides from plants such as pyrethrum, neem, sabadilla, that are less toxic, especially to non-target organisms, like the pollinators and the fish. This attribute makes botanical pesticides effective, reliable, and acceptable in sustainable crop protection. This is very important because when you prepare these biopesticides or botanical pesticides, you don't stabilize them, and therefore they disintegrate very fast and therefore become less harmful to our environment, less harmful to our health, and therefore they are good to use. In addition, they do not leave residues to the crop produce and the environment, thus contributing to environmental conservation and ensuring safety to consumers. They don't leave residues because I've said that they disintegrate very fast, they break down very fast. And I have also told you that one of the problems with the synthetic pesticides is that they are stabilized to persist in the environment for a long time. And within that time, they do a lot of harm to the environment. The interaction between botanical pesticides and the pest is naturally biochemical. Therefore, pests are likely to develop resistance. Plant-based chemical compounds in extracts and essential oils are target-specific, which ensures safety on non-target organisms. I have said that most of the chemicals that we have will kill both the beneficial and the harmful organisms, but the plant-based chemical compounds are host-specific, so they are not harmful to organisms like bees and other predators. I think I have repeated that. Depending on the source of plant and the concentration used, the botanical pesticides have zero or little allelopathic effect on crops. The increasing interest in natural plant products in medicine, agriculture, and food industry has spurred research in the composition of compounds in various plants families. And therefore, the farmers are using a lot of these botanical pesticides, and therefore scientists are interested to know what is this that is in plants that does this wonder. And therefore, a lot of research is being done to make sure that these pesticides, the chemical composition of these pesticides. So the common bioactive compounds in botanical pesticides are majorly secondary metabolites such as steroids, alkaloids, tannins, terpenes, all that. So and most of them, their effect is within a very short time. The specific compound found in given species of plant make them effective against given categories of pests. And we are saying that the bioactive compounds in botanical pesticides have varied modes of action against different pests, including insects, bacteria, nematodes. So it varies between, with which organism the bioactive compound is acting on. Like if we look at the Tephrosia vogeli, Tephrosia vogeli has a chemical called rotenol. It is the main one that that is active against most of the insect species that we have. And the mode of action is rotenol is a powerful inhibitor of cellular respiration. It inhibits respiration, the process that converts nutrient compounds into energy at the cellular level. So what happens is that once the organism is not has no respiration, then that organism is as good as dead. So rotenol does not kill directly, but what it does is it inhibits the normal functioning of the organs of the organism. And through that, the organism is not able to move, the organism is not able to feed, and therefore it dies out of hunger and or is attacked by other organisms. That is the Tephrosia vogeli we are talking about. It's called the fish poison bean. The fish poison bean. The other one is the other biochemical is not nicotine. Nicotine is a simple alkaloid. It's derived from tobacco, and I must caution that tobacco is rated as among the 12 dangerous chemicals in the world. And I know that farmers use it when they are spraying animals against ticks. They also spray their crops against some of the insect pests. Something has against insect pests, and nicotine is very, very dangerous and to humans. So this one is considered as among the 12 very bad chemicals in the world. And yeah, before I talk about nicotine, somebody has said that we use the Tephrosia that has purple leaves. Yes, it is. If Tephrosia vogeli is the one that has purple leaves, and there are different types of Tephrosia, but use the one that has purple leaves. Then we are saying that nicotine is it's a very fast-acting toxin. It competes with other chemicals. And what it does, it blocks the what we call acetylcholine receptors at nerve synapses and causing uncontrolled nerve firing. So the organism is not able to move. This disruption of normal nerve impulse activates results in rapid failure of those body systems. So in short, nicotine is quite poisonous, and therefore I would advise in organic agriculture to not to use it or use it sparingly and make sure that you have a safe life of 14 days. Then we have neem. Then neem, the tree is as the director indica. Now, I want us to talk about neem because we have got different trees that and farmers call all of them neem. We have got two types of Melia. We have Melia bokensi. Then we have Melia azadra. Both of them contain this chemical or active ingredient called azadirachtin, but they are not neem. And the mode of the source of proper azadirachtin is Azadirachta indica. And this plant will grow in very dry areas like Ukambani, like Cumberland, the coast, and the Nyanza region. In central, in the highlights of the Rift Valley, neem does not do well at all. So you find Meria azadirac and Meria bokensi in those areas. So the mode of action, it's a complex mixture of biologically active materials, and it's difficult to pinpoint the exact modes of action of various extracts. It combines different active materials. Mostly, it's also a nerve inhibitor, and what will happen is that it will affect the nerve system, and the organism will just die out of other secondary effects. So before I continue, yeah, this is the neem plant, and the active ingredient is in the leaves, in the seeds, in the bark, and in the roots. And what we encourage farmers to use is the leaves and the seeds because we don't want them to destroy the plant. Yeah, there are other plant extracts that I have not listed, and we have got one. We have Tithonia diversifolia. That one is still under research, and I would recommend that one, as we use it, for those people who have got a lot of information, you can share with us. But as far as I'm concerned, Tithonia diversifolia mostly acts in boosting the health of the plant. It mostly boosts the health of the plant. Now, we have got Tegetes minuta, which is Mexican marigold. This one is a very good plant against root knot nematode. And what happens is that when you are putting your seeds in the nursery, it is what you should do is you should be able to use the leaves, bury the leaves in the nursery bed, and you will not find root knot nematode attacking your crops. Solanum incanum, or sodom apple, is another pesticide that is farmers use. Is an acaricide, and research is being done to see what chemical it has to that kills ticks. It's also an insecticide, but very, very poisonous, especially to the eyes. Then we have another one that is also very important. We have what we call Agroecology, Ferox. Both Agroecology and Securidaca have lactacin, which controls termites. And the way you do it is you clash the leaves of aloe. After you clash the leaves of aloe, you crush like 10 leaves of aloe, put 5 liters of water, add some 20 ml of ethanol, because for you to extract the active ingredient in aloe, you have to use ethanol. Then you can use that to control termites in your farm. Then we have what we call trucali, or the euphorbia tirucali, which you plant like a fence. That one is used for as an insecticide. It is also very, very poisonous. The milky substance in that plant kills pests, and you do it the way we have done with the aloe, but instead of using ethanol, here you use a bar soap. Now, I don't know whether there is a question before I continue.
There are several questions on the chat.
Yes.
Do you want to take the questions, or you are about to finish?
I have like another 10 minutes to finish. Then we can take the questions.
All right. Okay.
So what I have said is that most of these botanical pesticides are made and then used. Let us make sure that we don't store them for long, because we have not stabilized them, and their mode of action is very fast. They will not, the active ingredients will not persist in the environment for long, and therefore let us make them and use them immediately. And I have also said that they are also chemicals. They can also affect us. And therefore, what we need to do is we should be cautious when we are using them. Let us wear gloves. Let us put on the protective gear when we are using these pesticides. I have the last one here, and it's called lime sulfur blue. I deliberately put this to mention to you that organic agriculture allows the use of copper-based pesticides and also sulfur-based pesticides. If you go to the Organic Agriculture Directory of pesticides, or most of them are copper-based, most of them are sulfur-based, and therefore I just want to demonstrate how what we make lime sulfur blue. This lime sulfur blue, it acts on pests, and it is also a fungicide. It is a fungicide. So how do you make it? The sulfur acts against pests, and working together with the microbiology forms sulfur oxides, which helps to break down. It also helps break down organic matter. What are the ingredients? Then we are talking about 100 liters of water, and you boil the water, mix the lime and the sulfur. Then you break the lumps, because I know sulfur makes some lumps, in dry condition, and add to the water as it boils. When the sulfur has become soluble, mix for 20 to 30 minutes on the surface of the mix to form a solution. Then to form a vortex, and then take off the fire. Then after it has burned, the mixture should be dark brick red when taken off the fire. Let it cool. Take of the upper layer of that has formed, it will form an upper layer. Take it off, and it is ready for use. When you are making it, you must keep some cool water so that, because it can, when it gets too hot, the water will rise, and you cool it with a little water. Cool it with a little water to reduce to size again. This brew can last for up to 12 months, and to preserve it, you put it in a colored container with no light exposition or grass. If you want to keep it, then you put the bottle tight of oxygen and make sure that it doesn't change its form. Then there is a paste that is left at the bottom, and that is used to cover trees against scars, and it is very effective against this. Then what is the dilution ratio? The dilution ratio is 3 to 5 liters in 100 liters of water. So you can calculate 3 to 5% and use as a foliar spray. Then I have also put some people making the sulfur brew. This is something that you can understand if you are doing it practically, and I think you can visit us so that we make the lime sulfur brew. It is very effective against most of insect pests. Plus, it is effective even against the blight, because it is a fungicide. Now, I may not be able to exhaust all the pesticides all the botanical pesticides that we have. But I know each community has its own botanical pesticides. Each organization is promoting different botanical pesticides. What we need to do is to have some exchange of information on whatever botanical pesticides that can be used in other regions, so that we can try them and also use them. And lastly, I want to say that it is part of integrated pest management. Farmers need to know the status of their soil, and we encourage farmers to do soil testing so that they are certain of the nutrient levels in their soil, and therefore will know what to apply. So sometimes farmers do less application of nutrients, or they do of a fertilization of their soils, and that has an impact on production. So we encourage farmers to do soil testing, and we at Effective IPM Association, we are doing soil testing for farmers. So you can contact us in case you want your soil tested. So I think I'll end it at that, and I encourage questions from the floor.
Wow, thank you so much, Daktari. You will stop sharing so that now we take another session to answer questions. And then on chat, I have put a document that PELUM Kenya produced in terms of agroecological inputs, and Effective IPM Association is also there, and other partners around Kenya. So for those who are joining us here on Zoom, please click on the link and you'll be able to get the inputs that are agroecological. So I want to hand over to Misoi to take the question and answer session. And before that, there is something I want to share with you. Misoi.
Yes, Ratemo.
Do you mind sharing about this story?
Yes, let me share briefly about this person. I'm not going to mention any name. I will not mention the company. I will not mention the name of this individual. But this is one of the farmers I met in Nakuru as I was training farmers with slow food. And it was very interesting and heartbreaking at the same time to hear his story. He worked for this multinational company for a very long time, and he was basically doing the chemical, mixing the chemicals for spraying. And one day, so he was affected by use of chemicals. And the worst part of it that led him to the situation he is in right now was this one time when he was after doing the spraying, they were spraying using planes around Kenya. He worked for this company that was spraying all over the country. So he would contact them, they would spray your large scale farms using planes. So this time, when they were done with the work, it was supposed, he was expected to go back with the same plane so that he can clean that plane at the same time. So he was not allowed to travel with the rest where they were seated because he was contaminated with this chemical. So he was asked to be locked inside that drum, the boom sprayer kind of, because it was a plane. He was told it will take just a few minutes and you will be done. So by the time they were lighting, he was, landing, he was unconscious, and it took time to go for medication, but it got worse. And as we speak, he lost all the air in his body. He lost his nails. He can barely see. His skin is seriously affected. So he went ahead to sue this company, but because he didn't have enough money, the case has not been concluded almost 6 years down the line. The case is still on, and he's been approached. First of all, they tried to kill him even when he was in hospital, but he managed by God's mercies. When he went home after discharge, he's always looking, he's not comfortable wherever he is because he knows the company really wanted him done so that the case can stop. So at some point, the company approached him and he was told, if he says this story, if he mentions the company, it will have a very big impact because one, the company does not just prepare that type of chemical, it prepares other chemicals and sells to the public. And therefore, if this gets to the public, then the company might be closed and they will lose business. And being an international company, it was also mentioned that they support other projects within the country that will be affected. So to date, as we speak, he was awarded only 2 million shillings to take care of his medication, but the case keeps being pushed. When anytime it is almost there, it is being pushed. So the case is still on. So even as we speak about people who've been affected by the use of chemicals, we have our own. We have our own who've experienced the same. And he told us that almost all his colleagues are dead. And they knew they can only hire you for a certain period of time. When they know the chemical is taking a toll on you, you're discharged from working for these companies. So he actually said he's lucky to be alive, and he would wish to share his story, but because the case is still in court, he cannot do that. So Dr. Daktari, the case is at home, and as we speak, this is a case in Nakuru. And can you imagine, he doesn't have all nails. He's actually recovering now, but he cannot even see, he can barely see. So the case is home, but as we say, these multinational companies have money, and so you're threatened. They threaten to kill you. They buy off the judges. In fact, he was mentioning some of the very senior magistrates in this country, that those are the people who receive money, and that is why his case has not come to any conclusion to date. So the photo you're seeing is the same person, but you can imagine how he looks now, and not just the physical. You can imagine the psychological effect that this has taken on this man. It has really taken a toll on him. So he's lost all his resources. He's lost all his life savings trying to treat himself. And he was just given 2 million that it could not even cater for his bills. So that is the story.
This is very serious. I think it's upon some of the organizations that are advocating against the pesticides to help such people, to have mechanisms to help such people. Otherwise, alone, he can't go far. It is really pathetic. Very bad. Very bad.
True. So in a
Yeah.
nutshell, that is what the photo is all about.
Thank you for sharing, Ms. Soy. We can see the effects of these pesticides. You can see that is now on his body. What has happened inside his body, we don't know. So what is happening to our bodies, only God knows.
Very true. And another thing, without forgetting, he said wherever they were cleaning the place, that ground.
Hello? Hello?
I think we are missing some sentences.
Yeah, we can't hear Joyce. We can't hear Grace. Hey.
Is
Grace, we can't hear you clearly.
Grace, are you there?
yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, your network was fluctuating. Maybe you can repeat the last few words, sentences.
Yes, I was saying the ground, the place where they were cleaning the planes from, the busas.
Yes. Oh.
The wherever
We can't hear you clearly.
doing that from several years after the use of that came in our soils. Let me switch on off the camera. Is it better now?
Yes.
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 Yes. So the chemical has long-term effects, not just on us, but also on the soil. So you can imagine, and also he was saying it is very corrosive even to the plants. The plants are so corroded by the use of these chemicals. So it's a very sad situation. And I think this training is coming in timely, Daktari.
Thank you, thank you.
So going to the questions, there is one question about, Beth was asking about the type of tephrosia. You answered this as you were presenting, but she was asking about the use of, which type of tephrosia do we use? Maybe you can answer that.
We said that the type of tephrosia, as I said, is the one with the purple flowers.
Mm-hmm.
We have got different types of tephrosia. There are very many, and but the one with the highest amount of rotenone is the one with purple flowers.
All right. The other question is from Margaret was asking something. I think we'll give time, Margaret, because she's one of our multipliers from Uganda, as she switches on her camera so that she can ask her question. Maybe I can also ask her. There's someone who is asking about the control of stinging nettle.
Stinging nettle is quite invasive, and I think I need time to look at that one because it's something that I had not thought of. Stinging nettle is quite invasive. You can't control it through uprooting. So I need time to think about that, Grace.
Yes, Collins is saying it is causing a menace to farmers in Taita Hills. So maybe when you have this information, you can share with all of us, of course, but very
Collins,
importantly to Collins.
He is my multiplier, I will share.
That is nice.
Yes.
There's also this question on the control of mealybugs on purpose. This question is from Lawrence. He's saying Ukambani and Baringo, they have a great problem with mealybugs. So he's asking the agroecological sound management strategy for this.
Yeah, well, I know that mealybugs is a menace, especially to the purpose. And we have tried lime sulfur brew. We have the yellow substance that is at the bottom, you smear on your purpose. The mealybugs will not come, the other mites will not come, but also spraying lime sulfur brew is going to help a lot. But the other thing is make sure that the old leaves are removed and the purple has enough light. That is one of the management practices.
Thank you so much. There is a question from Moses. Moses is saying his question goes to Daktari and also those among us advocating for agroecological methods and solutions at grassroots.
What? We are losing grace, huh?
Response to this approach.
Grace.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Don't switch on your camera.
Yes, the question is from Moses. He's saying, his question goes to you, Daktari, and also those among us advocating for agroecological methods and solutions at grassroots level. What is the farmer's response to this approach?
Yeah, probably I'll give my own view. I think farmers want systems that are working. And the most important thing is for farmers to get knowledge on, one, the chemicals that they are using, because a lot of them are not knowledgeable. They don't have the information, and therefore they have made these chemicals like part of their food. And therefore, if we give them information about the harm that these chemicals are doing, we are going to help them a lot. And then we cannot give them problems without giving them options to use. Therefore, that is why we are trying to train the farmers about integrated pest management, training them about biopesticides, training them about botanic, what we call biological organisms that can help them. A lot of farmers are now using those biologicals. They could be a little expensive. And one good thing is that when you use them, you don't have to keep on using them because the organisms will now regenerate in the environment, and therefore farmers will use less and less of chemicals. So I would say that for those who have embraced integrated pest management, it's really helping them. But it's a journey that we have to move with them, because also the multinational companies are there, and they talk about the sweet part of these pesticides, and therefore we need a lot of campaign about the use of other alternatives. That's why we are training the multipliers, so that because you are working directly with the farmers, so that now you can give the farmers the basket of choices and they can choose from that. So I would say that the response is quite good for those who are using it. The other thing is that for those companies that are producing for export, it's a condition that you have to reduce the use of chemicals, and therefore they are coming back to integrated pest management. Last week I was in Kericho, I was in Kericho training at a tea cooperative society who wants to export organic tea. And it was very interesting looking at how you can you can produce organic tea, because for some of the weeds that are in tea, most of the chemical that is used is Roundup, which is not a very good chemical. So people are embracing it slowly, slowly, but for those who must, then they are coming to us for advice.
Thank you, Daktari. I think that is very true. The response is very good, especially because most of the farmers can relate with what we train. For example, you talk about use of ash. Every farmer can relate with that because even the indigenous knowledge that they have about use of ash is supporting what we train. So the response is very good. There is another question from Jim.
Before you ask the question,
yes.
there is somebody asked me to comment about rabbit urine.
Yes.
As a pesticide. I know that there are many farmers who are using it, and they have said that it is working. I have seen it, and I don't think a lot of research has been done. If anybody has any information about scientific research on rabbit urine, I think I'll be glad to get it. But for sure, rabbit urine works on some of the pests like fall armyworm. Some of the people are even packaging it and selling it as a pesticide, but I don't have any scientific information about its action. And I don't think those people have done any scientific research on it. But I would say that people can try it, and then we go into research to see what works in rabbit urine.
Thank you, Daktari. So Jim from Tharaka is asking, you have mentioned about neem seeds and leaves. Now, how is it used and which is more effective, seeds or leaves?
Yeah, I would say that the seeds are more effective than the leaves. And what you do is you crush the seeds, and after crushing, you soak them in water for 24 hours, and you put some bar soap. It is easy to extract as a directing using soap. And after 24 hours, then you can dilute with the same amount of water and spray on your crops. You don't have to wait, because as a directing is also medicine for humans. When I was talking, I said that most of these biopesticides, they are also medicinal. So a plant like neem is also medicinal. So you don't have to wait for so long, but to make sure that when you're eating your plant, you clean them well.
All right. I think Lisba Mosetti, you've been connected to Beth, and thank you for appreciating the work done by PELUM. Daktari, what is the best way of controlling snails, especially this season? Shadrach is asking.
I will take Shadrach back to the lime sulfur brew. Snails don't like sulfur. Snails don't like sulfur, and therefore, if you make the lime sulfur brew, you'll control snails very well.
Thank you, Daktari. Has Leonida is saying, sorry for my behavior of being inquisitive. Oh, how can I become one? Karibu sana. I think Ratemo will get in touch with Leonida as well. People are interested.
Where does Leonida come from? Let her tell us where she comes from.
Yes, she can share that. Meanwhile, let us, Margaret, I hope you're getting ready. Leonida, where do you come from? Oh, she's from Vihiga County.
Then you are the right person to her, and plus Ferdinand.
Ferdinand
yes.
is online, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Ferdinand, you can get in touch with Lenida from Vihiga.
Ferdinand, talk to us. Where are you?
Let me see. He was online. Maybe he dropped. But we will connect her to Ferdinand. They might be
That's
neighbors.
right.
Yes.
Mm.
Now, can we have Margaret from Uganda? Kabuye. Margaret, please ask your question. Ratemo, is she online?
Yes, she is.
Maybe she
She's
wanted to
online.
greet us.
There's another potential multiplier. Zipporah wants to be a multiplier. Where are you from, Victoria?
Zipporah.
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 Yeah, she'll tell us.
Yes.
Anyway, if you have any question.
It's from Syokimau. That one is near me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll get in touch with Chari.
Yes, yes.
It's very interesting. So I don't know if Margaret is ready. If she's not ready, any multiplier online, any master trainer online.
It is important for them to switch on their camera so that we can take a photograph.
Actually, I can see Margaret Kabuye.
Maybe she's online but not listening.
But maybe there's connection issue. Let me try. But if you're a multiplier, please switch on your camera. Even if you're not a multiplier, also switch on. You know, we have not met for some time. Need to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, switch on.
Meanwhile, as they switch, there is a question from Sarah. Are pests found in agroecological system generally field pests? Bavazoning.
Sorry?
And are pests found in agroecological systems generally field pests? And then she continued to say, bavazoning and windbreaks are neat and application. Are neat and an application. Comment on the role of seed health.
Sorry, I think she can talk. I see she has switched on her camera. Now, Lembo, please go ahead and ask so that we don't miss
Okay. Yes, please.
Sarah, that is my mother. How are you?
Yes, you've done justice to this topic, and I want to appreciate you so much because I was just making a note here because Tatemo had also asked that she was going to ask me to say something, but I want to appreciate you so much, especially at the timing of this particular lecture and a series that have been brought to us in agroecology. You've done it well. So for me, I want to appreciate you particularly as in IPM, because as we have observed, is that agroecology is a domain of women mainly. We are just through this week, very many series of applauding women and all that, and what they are doing, the role that they are playing in our systems. I want to applaud you particularly because you seem to be the only one in your space. There's no competition, but I'm coming on. I'm coming on, we'll discuss.
No, you're already on.
Thank you very much. So what I wanted to say is that the agroecology is very, very safe for women because as you can see, IPM, as it is applied, does not quite call for protective clothing, and all those complications that we see in the other systems where we are using chemicals. It's very, very safe for women. And I think that is why women are enjoying that particular, farming system because it poses no danger to them. The second thing I want to point out is that within this green economy, the EU is emphasizing standards, environmental standards, social standards, and all those other standards that they are demanding before they can buy from countries that are trading for them. And so there in EU,
Yes.
the consumer is the one that is calling the shots. The consumer is the one who is calling the shots. Here in Africa, particularly in Kenya, who is calling the shots? Because the other day we shared a label that shows whether products are pesticide treated, whether they are GMOs or whether they are organic. We don't have those labels in the market for people to be able to choose and to know that this has been treated with the pesticides, and which means it's coming from conventional and not from the organic sector. We need those labels to be placed in there so that farmers can be able to choose their products from an informed point of view. I liked when you commented on Lake Naivasha and that the fish from there, you cannot consume it because of the pesticide effluent. And I wanted to comment on Lake Michigan also, which is regarded as a dead lake because there's no life, there's no activity. And it's because of the pollution from the agrochemicals and those ones that and because it's downstream. So all life, fish and all those things in Lake Michigan is not at all there. And that is where we are going to if we do not take care that we apply IPM in our farming systems. Having said that, let me go back to the EU. They have a system called the Rapid Alert for Food Systems. It's called the RASF. You go in there and there are so many notifications. Any notification from Europe or an importing country is due to MRLs, maximum residue levels in the food that they use. It is very, very sensitive. And yet, you'll find that countries that are notified don't even know they have been notified. So if you don't know that you have been notified, how do you react to be able to change?
You can't.
Particularly for our agroecology, I don't think that anybody has been notified when they have sent products out, except that now they are, accusing us of using cow dung and all that. They say they are pesticide in that one, which is not true. And so our methods are very, very friendly. And I applaud you. I still lift you up on high, Nehemiah, what you have done to take this niche. Thank you. Be able make it easy for us to learn and also to adapt. I think that is quite a credit for you. So my question was that, that when we are doing this IPM, are we doing this because the pests that are present are in the field and that's why we are applying all these methods, or is it just a general practice in agroecology that we do that to be sure that we end up with the health products? Because yes, my background is seed pathology, and when we did seed pathology, most of the pests that are on seed, you can prevent them at the seed level. And that is why you have barriers, you have the wind breaks and all that. Of course, breaking is also for pollination and things like that. But you'll do certain things, isolating the farms and also, having buffer zones, so that there's no contamination with the other crops. So will you say that seed health has any implications in agroecology? Because now we are just growing generally, we are friendly, everybody is friendly to another, we share seeds and all that. Would you say that there is any pest that could have been passing from one hand to another through the sharing of seeds? Yeah. So that's a good. And yes,
that's a good question, Sarah.
Yeah.
My mother, when I started, I said that integrated pest management basically is a preventive method. And normally all the agronomic practices, good agronomic practices, are done not necessarily to manage pests, but they end up managing pests a lot. So some of the practices that we overlook could have avoided some of the pests from coming to our soils. And one of the good practices is to have what we call the light planting materials. I will not call them seeds per se, but the light planting materials, because we're also using vegetative propagation. And sharing of planting materials is one way of distributing of pests. So the buffer zones, having the right planting materials, doing proper timely harvesting, and all that can help us a lot prevent some of the pests. Look at the pests like weevils. We get weevils when our maize overstays in the farm. So I would say that if we did things right, we would prevent some of the pest problems that we are having. So you are right by saying that in agroecology, let us use preventive measures, but not like the curative measures like in other agricultural practices. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Daktari. And that was a wonderful input from Sarah. You said she's your mother. I also want her to be my mother.
Oh, okay. I didn't finish my thing because my connection to you, I was asked by Bratemo is that, things like that, mentorship, issues of mentorship. Yes, we are mentoring at the policy level, but we are now coming to the ground and conceptualizing an incubator. Incubator, to be able to now pass this information to the youth, to the young children, to the children in the schools. So we have studied here something in Nehemiah, which I shall be connecting with you.
We can't hear you.
I think it's her connection.
Yeah. Voilà.
Sarah, we cannot hear you.
To be able to see what we are doing at the ground, and then now even the elder people have $70. This they live home very young. Oh my God. Yes, the disconnection between the youth and the rural areas where most of this food is grown is just so big. And then the age gap now again with those that are practicing these methods that we are talking about. The gap and the disconnect is just so much that now the ultra processed foods have now taken an upper hand and they are buying fast foods instead of wishing to grow food that they eat, food that is safe and food that is produced in healthy soils. And so it's timely that we mentor the youth, we mentor the school children, we mentor their teachers. Unfortunately, in the CPC, now agriculture has been introduced, agriculture and food safety has been introduced. And so we have, the sky is the limit for us, Nehemiah. We really need to get there. And I'll be connecting myself to you so that when we come to IPM, US, I can talk about you and you can also come and set up a satellite here that will be under your name, so that whenever we have school children and other communities are visiting, you are there also to say what you have just said to us today. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was powerful. Now, if I see we are out of time, I don't know if Margaret is still around. If she's not Beth, Ratemo, do you think we still have Margaret? If she's not in any master trainer in the house?
No, she's not in.
All right. Do we have any master trainer?
Maybe everyone can switch on their camera so that we know who we have here.
And we can also take a photo.
Yeah, take a nice photo.
Can you be seen?
Please switch on your camera. Don't be shy, just for a minute.
If you can see.
If you can, please switch on.
Yeah, this way.
If you can switch on your camera, please switch on.
Meanwhile, Ratemo, I have a message from Sylvia. So as we said, our training on Friday will be on essentials of PGS development and organic markets opportunities. Our facilitators for that day will be Samuel Ndong of Corn and Sylvia Kuria of Sylvia's Baskets. So they are not in all of them, but Sylvia says hi to everyone, and she's welcoming all of us to that session on Friday. It will be a powerful session. Now that we've even taken care of the pests and diseases. Now we need to get to the market, because unless we are selling, unless we are making an income out of it, then it will not be very important. Apart from getting our food, we also need money in our pockets. Therefore, Ndomo and Sylvia will take us to the market on Friday. So welcome everyone for our session on Friday. Tomorrow we shall have another session that will be done by IPM on market systems development. So market system development will be done tomorrow. It will be conducted by IPM. It will be facilitated by Robert and I tomorrow, same time. So we shall be sharing the link with the team. And we welcome everyone also for tomorrow and Friday. Hatujamaliza, watu wasichoke, tutamaliza Friday tukiwa tumefika sokoni. Thank you very much. To that point, I want to hand over back to Ratemo.
So did your father work at KEBS?
My uncle.
Okay, yes, I knew the wife.